Hello, everybody. Uh, Welcome to Saturday's virtual town meeting when it comes to the coronavirus and other issues facing our town. I'd like to thank you for joining on this Saturday. Temperatures much higher than it was last weekend. Good time to get out in the yard, and if you have a yard, to get out and get some fresh air and do some yard work, or take a walk around the block. And just get some fresh air. I'd like to start with some of the statistics so far as it relates to the state and to New Milford. And for the state of Connecticut, confirmed COVID-19 cases are now at 29,921. In Litchfield County, we're 808, and in New Milford, 183. And we do have 7 deaths. As I've posted on my Facebook posts before, if you could just say a prayer to those that have passed and to their families. It's a tragic situation, but we will continue to get through those. So again, prayers to the deceased and their families. Speaking about the COVID-19 situation here in New Milford, we continue to practice our stay safe, stay home protocols by Governor Lamont. And those include gatherings of 5 or less, also staying a minimum of 6 feet away from someone, social distancing. Also, if you've traveled outside of the state of Connecticut, we ask that you self-quarantine for 14 days minimum. Also, masks are now required if you cannot maintain a 6-foot distance for social distancing. Governor Lamont has asked that you wear a mask. Also, for employees in businesses, there are essential businesses that are open, gloves and masks are required per Governor Lamont's executive order. Also, staying on that vein, what I would like to ask our residents is when you do go to the essential stores and you are wearing a mask and gloves, if you're going to discard the gloves, please put them in a trash receptacle. Don't leave them in the grocery store bins. Don't leave them in the carriages or on the ground. Someone else has to then put them in a trash receptacle. The best thing would be able to do is to put them in a trash receptacle either at the location of the essential business or bring them home and then dispose of them at your home as well. Keeps us all safe, and it's better for everyone. So I'd really appreciate it if we all could just could do that, and that would be helpful for everyone. Also, to continue on, executive orders that I've placed here in New Milford that are still standing. One is the temporary lodgings, the Airbnbs and such are suspended. They're not being done right now. We have members of our town employee base that are checking on these, and we also have the New Milford Police Department I'd like to thank that are helping us enforce that. Also, an executive order here in New Milford, all town parks are for New Milford residents only to keep with the social distancing, and those are being monitored by our New Milford Police Department as well to make sure that our residents can use these parks, and we don't want to overcrowd those due to social distancing. Closed fully are our playgrounds, our basketball courts, our tennis courts, our skate parks, and our fields. And all those are all informed to keep with our social distancing. We have kept the New Milford High School track open for people to be able to exercise, but please maintain social distancing when using those. We don't want to have to close that exercise opportunity down. So please make sure that you have the proper social distancing with that. Also, I can't thank our community enough for their continued support of our nonprofits. We just had a Give Local campaign that for this time was wonderfully donated by our citizenry. So I'd like to thank you. That helps our nonprofits. And I'd also like to thank the nonprofits that continue to help support and feed those in need, whether it be the United Way, it would be Carmela's Cupboard, Loaves and Fishes. We also have our food bank as well, and also the faith-based food banks that are serving those in need as well. Please, if you have an opportunity to donate, please do so because they are required. It's not required, but if you could, that would be a wonderful thing to do, because we are seeing more people using those as the economy continues to head a little lower and our unemployment continues to head higher due to the COVID-19 and people held in place. So that would be a wonderful thing. If you could do that, that would be great. Also, for our community that continues to do little things, pay things forward at the line, pay ahead of someone. Also, signs, New Milford Strong, to homemade signs, thanking our first responders, thanking our medical staff, thanking everyone that's been involved, our essential employees, thanking them for all their hard work. And speaking of that, I would like to thank those people. First, our first responders, being our police, our fire, our ambulance, our medical staff, also our town employees who are essential workers as well, our DPW staff, our employees in our departments, they're essential staff, and also the essential workers, whether it be our grocery store workers, workers in restaurants, all trying to make sure that we can continue to offer services to you, our residents here in New Milford. And I can't thank them enough for doing this task. It's a heavy lift, and I'd like to thank everybody for doing that. And I'd also like to thank you, the public, for continuing to patronize our essential businesses and those that can provide businesses via the internet that are partially open, so to speak, and helping them, whether it be ordering online or gift cards. This definitely makes a big difference in a small business's finances, especially during this time. With that being said, what I'd like to do is talk to a couple of people to see if I can answer some questions for you as we're waiting for the questions to roll in. Tony, good morning to you as well. Beautiful day today. It's supposed to be up in the 60s, I believe. Tomorrow, a little bit of rain and into the 40s. So now today would be a good day to get out and do whatever stuff you would do around your yard or around your condo or your apartment. Now would be a good day today to do that, because tomorrow it's supposed to be a little more rainy. Also staying on topic with the COVID-19 as well is just continue to make sure to keep your social distancing and also hand hygiene. These are two of the most important things you can do to, bend the curve and stop, the continued infection rate of COVID-19. Washing hands 20 seconds under the spigot with as hot as water as you can possibly tolerate. Make sure you get up to your wrists, and then make sure if you can, under your fingernails as well. Do this as many times as you can, and this is a wonderful way to stop COVID-19. It's one of the protocols that the governor did in the stay home, and also done by the medical experts and the federal government as well. Also, the social distancing, keep a minimum of 6 feet away from one another if you can. If you cannot, then you're required to wear a mask per Governor Lamont's executive order. If you are going to be going into stores, please wear a mask. And as I said before, if you are wearing gloves as well, please dispose of those in a container and not on the ground or in the carriage. Someone else is going to have to dispose of those. If we could all just do this together, it would be helpful for everyone working together as a community. Let's see, Eileen. Hi, Eileen. Good morning to you as well, and I'm glad that you tuned in today on this update that's going on here this morning, as it is every Saturday morning. If in fact we need to do more of these, we will. But right now, once a week seems to be where it's most effective. But if we do need to do more during the week, we will. I have Grant over here beside me, helping me out, fielding questions. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Grant, for being here. And then from Pat, have we hit the peak yet? If not, when is it anticipated? So speaking to Mike Crespin, he's our health director here in New Milford. We are in kind of the beginning phase of the peak, and we're figuring the peak as it is. And the big if is if we continue to practice our social distancing, continue to practice our stay safe, stay home protocols. We are in kind of the peak area now. But if we don't follow these rules, what will happen is some of the infections can become live, so to speak, and in our system could be as long as 14 days. So it's very important that we continue to practice these things so we can continue to bend the curve. If we do not, we will continue to see escalations, and it will just push back the height of the infections. So right now, as I said, Mike Cressman, our health director, said we're kind of beginning into that phase. So if we can continue to really practice these social protocols that have been put in place by the governor and by us here in the town, that would be great, and it could help us get to the other side of the peak. Also, town offices, as they have been, are under lockdown. You can only get in with an appointment. They're closed. Our essential employees are working Monday through Friday, but by appointment only can the public access our town buildings. And if you have something you need to talk to a department, please call that department and schedule an appointment. Let's see, from Kylie. Good morning. Thank you, Kylie, for joining in as well. I appreciate you tuning in. And I said that, again, this is to update us on COVID-19 issues here in New Milford, and also other issues that are facing our town as well. Let's see, from Marie. I hear people are still not keeping a distance in stores and not wearing masks. It is mandated that we all should wear a mask while in the stores. That's absolutely correct, Marie. And it's very, very important, especially if we want to make sure, as Pat had asked before, if we want to make sure that we don't continue to push a peak out farther than it should be, if we can continue with the best practices, one of them being, if you cannot be within social distancing of 6 feet, which is apparent when you go to a store, please wear a mask. The mask can be one that you can make yourself. There are places where you can purchase a mask. It's very important. We'll put on our sites again how to make a mask. It's very important that you do this, and it's for the protection. It's not for your protection. It's that you're actually protecting someone else, because this disease affects people differently. Some people are asymptomatic, meaning you really don't have any symptoms, but you still could be COVID positive, and droplets, it's a very, very contagious disease. So you may not even know it, but even breathing with droplets can get on someone and could affect someone, especially someone that may be asymptomatic, that could be maybe have underlying conditions, and that could really affect them in a very negative way. So these masks are basically to help your neighbor, to help your community. So please, if you know that you're going in a store, please wear a mask. Next is from Jamie. Remind folks to reply to the census. Yes, Jamie, thank you. So you had gotten something in the mail from the U.S. Census Bureau, and now is the time. It's required for you to fill out that application. You can either do it by the mail, or you can actually go online, and I will push out something a little bit later on today on the census of where you can actually do it online as well. And it's very important. It's important for the town as well, because the census helps us get funding from the state and federal government, and that's related to population and different types of the population as well. So it's very important to help our community. Please fill out the census. It takes a few minutes. It's easy to do. And again, I'll send something out a little bit later. If you haven't received something in the mail, you can actually do these online as well. So I'll send something out on that. From Marie, I'd really like to know what is going to be done when people are in the stores. Another question again, and do not wear a mask. So again, we are asking our residents that do go into stores to please wear a mask. Governor Lamont has signed an executive order that if you cannot maintain a minimum of 6 feet from one another or in a store, to wear a mask. So please, as I said before, wear a mask. It helps your neighbor and your community. So please do so. Let's see from Linda. Thank you for keeping us informed. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Linda. And we're going to continue to do these again Saturdays as a minimum. If we need to do more of these, we will during the week. Also, if you could keep in touch on my Facebook page, and also I have a Twitter page, and we'd also do reverse 911 and press releases as well. So we're trying to get this out, messages out to our community in all ways that we can to keep you informed during this pandemic. Let's see. As I'm checking here for some other messages, as we're waiting for those to populate in, I'd also like to thank our business community again, those that are essential businesses, for continuing to stay open. Our daycare centers that are open right now, I'd like to thank them for allowing our essential workers to have a place for, if they need daycare, to have that ability to do so. I'd also like to thank our town essential employees for continuing to provide the services and government moving forward here locally for our residents. We began to have more meetings with our commissions and boards and commissions. Our Board of Finance just met this past week. Our town council will begin virtually another meeting this Monday. And it's all in the efforts to continue to move the town government forward. Those you can virtually go on and see. And if you'd like to participate during public participation, you can do so as well. And the links are posted on the agendas. So it's something you can do out of the comfort of your home. Let's see from Loretta. She said, "Good morning. It's a very short and easy form to fill out for the census." So as Loretta has just said, again, getting back to the census, it's very important that you do fill that census out. You can either do it via what you got in the mail or online. And what that does is it helps our community when it comes to funding from the federal and the state government. They use a lot of that census data to give us grants and to provide us with additional opportunities for funding. The next is from Mike. Are there any masks being made locally by individuals, organizations, or business that New Milford residents can buy? There's a lot posted on Facebook. A lot of people out of the graciousness of their hearts are making these and giving these away. There's some businesses that are selling those as well. And you could just take a look. I'll try and put together some information and push that out as well. A lot of it's just community minded and community based. So if you could keep an eye out for that. And again, as I said previously, I'd like to thank those people that are doing that job of actually donating. We've had a lot of donations here to the town itself from people that made masks. And that's just one part of a real big community lift here to help us. Whether it be the meals now that are being donated up to our first responders and hospitals and police, to people patronizing our essential establishments that are still open, to people giving neighbor to neighbor, giving a helping hand. And one of the things that I've asked our community to do is if you could just check on one another. Plan on doing 10 calls a week to your neighbors or to your family, and just please check on them and just see if they're okay, especially our senior community, as COVID-19 seems to really be preying on that community at large and those with underlying conditions. So the more that we can help ourselves and help our community by doing these outreaches, it's better for everyone. And again, just our community spirit. I can't thank everybody enough for really pitching in and helping one another. It shows the true spirit of our town and why I've always said this town is so special. And as the sign says there, best town in the USA. Let's see, from Karen, Helping Hands uh, Helping Hands Heroes website, mask and merchandise profits for charity. So you can check out the Helping Hands for Heroes website and make a purchase there, and that will go for charity. Let's see, from Elaine, any more info on the boat ramp side? We'll open up as scheduled in Lindeming Park. So currently Lindeming Park has been closed. I requested that to be closed down. And the reason being, when we were doing our social distancing checks, we had a lot of youth that were in the park. Social distancing was not being adhered to. People were using the playgrounds, skateboarding, all good things in a time when we're not in a pandemic. But during those times, makes it for social distancing not being kept. So the park has been closed. As we continue to look at these infection rates, and if we can get behind and bend the curve, Memorial Day is the day that normally the park's open. So we're going to continue to monitor these things, especially for the boat ramp and for the docks and for the kayaking. So we're going to be looking at those. We look at them every day, see what our figures are here, and see what's going to be best for the population. So we're going to continue to monitor that. As I said before, normally Lindeming Park is opened on Memorial Day. So we'll be giving more information on that once we get closer to that date. Let's see, next from Eileen. Even if Lindeming Park remains closed, will the boat ramp side be open? Again, what we're doing is for social distancing. We're continuing to keep that park closed. It's normally opened on Memorial Day. So we are going to continue to monitor that as we look at our numbers. Mike Crespin, Department of Health, he's our director. We continue to monitor these, review these numbers daily, and see where we are. And hopefully by that time, we have bent the curve in New Milford and are continuing on a downward trajectory. That's the hope by that time. So we'll have more information as we get closer to that date. Let's see. Any idea, this is from Jojo, any idea if New Milford Rec softball will be happening? So what right now our fields are closed. Again, we're continuing to monitor the infection rate here. We're hoping that we will be able to have a softball season. It may be delayed. He may be playing later into the season than normal. But again, this is all going to be predicate to how our numbers are, especially when we're going through the height of this infection. If we can get to the curve and begin to trend down, then more things we can look to opening up. But as of right now, we still are seeing some rises in our confirmed cases as we monitor, as I said prior. As these continue to increase, we still want to make sure that we practice what we're doing currently and really adhering to these protocols so we can bend the curve and not be in this situation in the summertime. We want to make sure we all work together to bend the curve, to lower these infection rates, to get behind the peak, and then we can look at more things to do and opportunities to open up here in New Milford. Let's see. Thank you for getting information out about masks. I need masks, absolutely. So we'll be looking to push some of the more information out to you concerning masks. As I said before, there's some wonderful community people that are actually making masks and giving those out as donations. There are some that was just mentioned to me, the Heroes group, that you can actually purchase as a charitable donation, and you can get a mask from them. And also there are some people that are selling them as well. I'll put together something for everyone. So if you do need to get a mask, there'll be an opportunity for you to do so. Let's see from Robert. Thank you for making the time to visit some of our local businesses during the week. And thank you to the video staff for helping them. Absolutely. So Grant and I have been out, and we're going to continue to do so, visiting our New Milford businesses, essential businesses that are open, and just kind of giving you, our public, kind of a sense of the business, what they have to offer. And if you could, patronize any of our essential businesses here in New Milford to help during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is a very trying time for our business community and for our residents as well. So the more we can help one another and keep these local businesses in business, the better it is for our community and better it is for our citizenry. And also, what I've tasked our economic development director, Karen Pollard, to do was to reach out to every business in New Milford to see if they need any assistance in some of the qualifying grants and loan opportunities that are available via the federal government and state government. And I redeployed some of our town employees who I'd like to thank to help make these phone calls. If you haven't received a phone call yet, you will. If not, please feel free to give Karen a call, or you can give me a call as well. My cell phone, 203-788-2619. We'd be happy, Karen would be happy to talk you through the process of how to apply for the different opportunities that are available, and also some of the programs that you may not be aware of that can be helpful for you. Let's see, masks can be purchased. We have the link here. The grant is put out. So if you see that, that's one of the places where you could make a donation and also get a mask. So that's great. So thank you for the helping hands for heroes. Also, Mike Boucher had just said, can you remind the residents about the change at the recycling center? Absolutely, Mike. So in order to keep our social distancing together, we've made a few changes at the recycling center. We've closed the recycling center for 2 days during the week, kept it open on Saturdays, and have also changed the way that we charge. We were charging per weight, but to take away that interaction, we're now charging by the bag like we used to do, and that's all in keeping social distancing. We're asking residents to make sure if you're able to, physically able to dump your own trash to keep with social distancing. If you're a senior or if you're someone that physically can't do that, obviously we will help you there to do that. But for social distancing, we're asking that. Also, no bulky material allowed right now into the recycling center. Tires, mattresses, all those big bulky things. Right now, to practice social distancing, those we're not taking in at this time. Next, let's see, from Jojo. Let's see, Pat, have you gotten any feedback from the public on what the Board of Finance did with the budget that you can share with the voters? Sure. So not a COVID-19 issue in a way, but the Board of Finance during their deliberations made some adjustments to the budget that was presented to them by the town council and the mayor. And their adjustments were reducing the budget. On the town side, they reduced it by $1,150,000. And the Board of Finance can make adjustments on the town side per category. So they took $500,000 from the personnel category and $650,000 from the capital category. They then reduced the requested budget from the Board of Education by $1 million. Any reductions to the Board of Education would be done by the Board of Education itself. The reduction line item would be done by them. What happens next in this budget situation that we have, per the executive order by Governor Lamont, is now the budget will go back to the town council, and then the town council will, by line item on the town side, make the adjustment. Board of Ed side, if it's kept the same, will then refer that reduction in request to the Board of Education. 2/3 vote of the town council by charter could change some of the dynamics on there. I've requested a special public hearing, which will be June 1st for the public to give input. And on that same night will be the deliberations from the town council. That will be June 1st. I do suggest that you put your comments to our town council. You can do that at towncouncil@newmilford.org, or you can you can go on our government page on the website and pick out a town councilman that you would want to talk to. You can do that as well. And to me, the earlier that you can get your suggestions to the town council, the better. It's about 5 weeks away, but the more they can get a sense of it, the better. So that's what the Board of Finance did at their last meeting. Do you think schools will stay closed for the rest of the year? From Keisha. Right now, currently, they're closed until May 20th. I know Superintendent Parker has been talking with the state Board of Education, and they're continuing to assess what they're looking to do as far as that. And I know Superintendent Parker will let myself and the public know as to what is going to be going on after May 20th. I would like to thank our teaching staff, our administration, all for the long distance learning that is going on right now with our students. They put that together when the governor decided to do the stay safe, stay home. And I can't thank them enough for their continued efforts in educating our children here in New Milford in a totally different way. So thank you for that. And I know they'll continue to do that for as long as is required. So thank you. And Karen, again, wanted me to reiterate her number, so her cell phone number, and Karen Pollard, our Economic Development Director. So if you do have a need, or if you haven't been reached out by our Economic Development team to see if you have a need, please feel free to call her at 860-488-0492, or K Pollard, that's the letter K for Karen, Pollard, Pollard, at newmilford.org. And if you are a sole proprietor, self-employed person, a 1099 employee, there's also opportunities for you as well. So please give Karen a call. Next is someone here. Steve, what will the town's response be if some small businesses decide to open despite the governor's orders? If you disobey the executive order from the governor, then you'll be asked to comply with the order from the governor. These were put in place for safety measures, and until the order is lifted, you should comply with the governor's orders. It's very important as we continue to move forward through this pandemic. As I said in the beginning of our show, right now we're either almost at the top or trending to the top, and we don't of the infection rate. We want to be on the back side of this. We want to be where we're trending down, which will allow us to open more things and have more opportunities. But if we continue with infections increasing, then those opportunities become less and less, and the time that we're in becomes longer and longer. So the more we can practice our social distancing, our stay safe, stay home protocols, limiting our gatherings to 5 or less, wearing the mask when needed, definitely in stores, and when you feel that you're not within an area where there's 6 feet distance between you and people. We can practice all these things, hand hygiene, all these things, they add up to helping us bend the curve, and then we can get on the backside of this infection rate. So it's very important that we all practice these things and adhere to the rules that right now are currently in place. Let's see, who else do we have here? Another question concerning schools. Yes, the schools continue. As I just said a moment ago, on May 20th is when the schools are closed, but that could be updated and could be pushed out farther. I know Dr. Parker, who's our superintendent, is working closely with the State Board of Education as for dates and if school will come back or if it will be closed and distance learning will continuing on for the rest of the year. And also, again, the school itself has opened up from Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For those children 18 or less that need a meal, you can go there and pick up a meal. Also, Carmela's Cupboard, which Angie Chastain and her team runs on Friday afternoons for those children in need, especially over the weekends. You can get a bag full of meals. So definitely sign up with Angie and Carmela's Cupboard if needed. And also we have our social services team that on Thursdays does the food bank, and that continues to grow, especially during this downturn in the economy due to COVID-19. So again, any donations to our food bank or to Carmela's Cupboard or any of the faith-based food banks, Loaves and Fishes, would be greatly appreciated. And that just helps our community, especially those less fortunate. Let's see. Checking real quick here. From Marie, wow, Mass has closed all schools until the end of the school year. Governor Baker stated that a few weeks ago. Thanks, Marie. Right now, Governor Lamont has not executed any additional links so far into our school systems here in Connecticut. They are closed until the 20th, but then they'll continue to once Governor Lamont makes the decision. I know on the conference calls that I'm on, he also is talking with the State Board of Education when they make their decision whether to continue on with virtual learning till the end of the year or open them up. That's going to be a decision that they will make. I'm hoping myself, I'm sure Dr. Parker feels the same, that they make that decision sooner rather than later. And again, I can't thank our teachers, administrative staff for continuing to teach our kids in a brand new way, which is through this virtual learning. So again, thank you very much for your continued hard work in doing that. So thank you. Let's see. Can we reach out to those overburdened with yard maintenance, cleaning, or any way to find and help where needed? So great question, Robert. For those that would like to help, for those that are in need of doing some basic lawn maintenance, maybe they can't do it for health reasons, that'd be a great thing. My suggestion would be first is to put a call out maybe to your neighbors that are near you first, and then maybe put a post out onto Facebook or a social site. I definitely know you'll get a lot of requests back for something like that. Right now, there is no current network spot that I know of. I will check where you could make that type of offering, but I really want to thank you for offering that for our community and for your neighbors. That's a wonderful thing to do. From Kim, any thoughts of our graduating seniors? What will that ceremony look like? So, Kim, I don't really know. That would be something that the superintendent of schools and the Board of Education would be. I'm sure they're working on it now as to what graduation would look like and a ceremony would look like with that. That would be something that they would be opining on. I know that they're working on that as of right now, but I haven't heard yet on what they're going to do. I do know that our seniors this year deserve some sort of recognition, and hopefully we can do that for our seniors once we're allowed to do so. I think with all their hard work, especially with the COVID-19 issue that affects all of us, I really am expecting and would be working with our Board of Education and with our superintendent on how we could do that as a community. But that'll be something that we'll be talking about later once we get through this. And as I said before, I know that the superintendent and board have been working on how that ceremony would look like. And we'll be speaking more about that as the weeks go on. The next is from Priscilla. Are we able to track where the infected person went or track the virus spread in New Milford? So currently it's a great question. So currently how it is tracked, our health department staff, we've also brought on some nurses, track the person that has been confirmed infected. So what we try and do then is assess where they have been, and then also if they're within a family, how big is the family household, and try to monitor those individuals and keep track of them. As far as when they get better, I've had a lot of people ask me, Pete, I see the numbers are right now currently at 183. Are all 183 confirmed cases still active cases? And the answer is no. Majority of these cases, the individuals have gotten better, but there's not a tracking system put in place to follow that all the way through to the end. But we're working on that to see if we can get some numbers to show how many people have contracted it and have gotten better. So that was a great question. Continuing on, again, I cannot